then he extends his arm and tells the defender to get in front of Son. And Son, he's played in the Premier League. This guy is not going to think twice about it, but he's going to fucking just bram it in there. And I think Tala should have gotten some kind of body part on it. Whether it would have stopped the goal from coming in, I don't know. It probably still would have gone through his hands, but I think it was just lack of positioning. That second goal is a lot more complicated than you think. It's the opposite post. And when I see the goalkeepers in training or pregame warm up, those angles are very, very difficult for them to get to, especially Tala, who's I think our tallest goalkeeper out of the three that we took for these matches. So it's hard for them to get down there. And I think the second goal is harder to block than the first one. But nonetheless, people are going to crucify him. They're going to continue to use Malagon's, stats against him and say, with Malagon, we have clean sheets. And again, with Talavera, with Tala Rangel, we don't. And I think that's so biased and so unfair.
The difference is that Malagon came in clutch when these moments, like these high tension moments, came up during his game against Japan. And, quite opposite, I feel like Rangel crumbled underneath the pressure when we needed him to come in for us tonight, and he didn't. So, it's more on him. It's unfortunate because I'm a Chivas fan, but I don't think he should be the number 2 right now.
Yeah, that's a hot take. I'll give you that. I think with Malagon, his defense and his performance against Japan, like people are gonna name him the man of the match, and he was the reason why we got the clean sheet. But I don't think any of those shots were like really challenging, like the ones that Rangel had tonight. I think it was two completely different games. And another thing too, because I was at the game, I wasn't able to really do the post-game analysis on Saturday. But one of my biggest criticisms of Malagon, especially early in that match against Japan, is he was crumbling under the high press, and he did not look good on his feet. He kept like stuttering and hesitating, and his clearances were awful. He was just putting him back into the feet of the Japanese team, and we give up a lot of possession because of Malagon. I think if a team does the high press against us and Malagon is the starting goalkeeper in the World Cup, that's going to be an easy scout. That's going to be an easy match for our opponents to really exploit us if Malagon ends up being our starting goalkeeper. With Rangel, I think that, he's still a little green. Let's be honest. You can see that he's got the nerve still. It's going to take him a while to settle in. He might not get that opportunity to be a starter in the World Cup, but I still feel a lot more confident with him being on feet and his aerial ability over Malagon when it comes to, the big dance next year.
That's a good point on Malagon. And I'm not sure if you remember, but there was a point in time towards the end of the first half where Raul scolded him for going long too often.
Yep.
And I thought he adjusted after that moment. And I thought he finished off the second half distributing the ball better against Japan. But yeah, he was stuttering, and it just goes to show you we're not used to that kind of pressure, like with the climate and the quality of the opposition of North America, someone who does an effective high press. We don't meet them that often, maybe Canada, and I would say Japan probably does it better than Canada. So it wasn't for any reason that Malagon struggled, but it's because the quality of the Japanese, and I thought he was able to adjust towards the end of the second half, or towards the end of the first half and into the second.
Yeah. One thing from both games that I want to take away from this is how the opponents were able to be on possession and actually put, Mexico on their backs. And because Mexico holds possession out of comfort and out of defense. They feel very comfortable when they have majority possession. And in that game against Japan, they didn't have that, especially in the early game in the first half. And then today against Korea, both teams had their moments and had momentum going. Obviously, Mexico towards the end, they had to come back from that 2-1. But there were times where Korea was holding possession and Mexico had to do the counter. And that to me is very refreshing to see a team challenge us in that manner. And I'm glad that, we got to experience that today, because, Aguirre's going to have to go back to the drawing board and decide who's his starting 11 going to be like, and the midfield, which is where we're losing most of the battle. Because right now, I'm not convinced with Marcel Ruiz. He had a really bad game today. I think he lost the ball in very critical moments where Korea, if they had better shooters, they would have exploited that and they would have been up by 2 or 3 goals. I think Marcel Ruiz had a really bad game and he was subbed off. He got a yellow card. He was lucky not to get a double yellow. But man, it's really unfortunate because he was one of those kids that they kept asking like, hey man, this guy's killing it at Toluca. Like, when is he gonna get the moment at the selección? He's gotten the moment, but yeah, I think he's still a little green. I'm not convinced that he could be our starter in next year.
I think the criticisms that you laid out are a bit over exaggerated in regards to Marcel Ruiz. He had two misplaced passes, and that yellow and that second incident that almost got him sent off. I thought the one that he got a yellow for was clean. I thought he was clean. I know the TUDN announcers thought it was clean. So like I thought that was unjust. And then for that second incident, like that was totally accidental, and
Oh
the
yeah.
Korean guy made a meal of it. But he had two misplaced passes, but I think in spite of that, I think he still had a decent game. And then of course Vasco had to take him off because like if you're tired and you're on a yellow, then you're a little bit slower in your tackles, and you don't want to risk that. So like it was a good call to sub him out, but I don't think he had an awful game. It's just like I said earlier, like Mexico, they had tough time like getting used to playing these opponents with high intensity,
Yeah.
with like this pressure that the Koreans and the Japanese were able to do, because we're our region is lacking in quality for the most part.
The thing about our region in CONCACAF, is it's a slower paced game. Number one, that's just like it's more physical, it's more dirty. They're gonna try and hack you the whole game, right? It's a completely different style of play that we're used to, and having to qualify in CONCACAF isn't as easy as people think. A lot of teams just park the bus against Mexico and they try to scrap and claw and hack the whole game, and they don't really give us that many openings. So Mexico's used to having 60-70% possession and having to find a fucking way in, and crossing 1,000 times a game and maybe getting a goal off a set piece and scraping like a 1-0 on the road game. And against Japan and Korea, like these teams were coming out with a high press, which we're not used to, and with just a lot of intensity and also like wanting to be the protagonist, like holding on to possession and also like looking really lethal on those counters. Like when Marcel Ruiz lost that ball, they immediately went to a great counter, a great pass. And again, if it wasn't for, the bad finishing, like Korea could have been up 1-0 very early in the match. And, you think about what's at stake next year in the World Cup, like a better team will exploit and penalize Mexico for those mistakes. It's happened so many times. We've seen it happen in the World Cup so many times. But yeah, I think it was a really good test for Mexico, and still some questions to be asked. I think one thing that we can confirm today, unless something happens, that Raul Jimenez should definitely be like our starting striker. Like he is clear, like head and shoulders above everybody. However, I will say what Santi Jimenez did tonight in the 94th minute was a stroke of genius. I am so glad that he let that ball run. He didn't try to bring it down with the first touch. He let that ball run. He got the feint over the Korean defender, and then he strikes it first time with his left foot. Like, I don't see too many Mexican players doing that shit. They always try to cut in or they try to put it on their dominant foot. No, he was smart to let that ball run. He hits it on the left. He ties the game up, and that was clutch city, and that was a much, much needed goal from Santi Jimenez.
Yeah, I really liked that moment. It was like beautiful, dramatic, and it was from someone who was overdue his goal for La Selección and AC Milan. You could even argue because he didn't score in his last game, unfortunately, or he did and it got called offside. But one person who really let me down tonight, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, was Johan Vasquez for that second goal. He got smoked twice in the lead up to the second goal, and in that final low driven shot. He was beaten like on the counter. I thought he guessed wrong. Like you were praising Santi for the way he moved his body. Johan did the exact opposite and moved his body in the wrong direction, and then he found himself like, I don't know, a yard behind the Korean defender. And then when he finally did catch up to him, he was already ready to shoot, and then it goes right through his legs in a tunnel. And so for all the praise everyone has been giving Johan Vasquez, he really got exposed tonight in that instance at the very least.
Yeah, Johan Vasquez. Yeah, not his best game. And there was this one moment towards the end of the match where he just started to press up and he gives a ball. It was like a give and go. I think it was to Santi. I forgot what player he gave it to, and they didn't give it back to him. I'm like, bro, it would have been perfect for him to put away. And I think he even had like a shot on goal and everything. So like Vasquez was playing like pretty aggressively up top, for a center back. But yeah, his defensive duties today were not the best. We have Habibi joining us. He's our gambler here. He watches the money line. He watches all the betting. So how did that go from that perspective, Habibi? Did you make money? Did you lose money? You got your lunch covered for the rest of the week? You're on mute, by the way.
Not for the rest of the week, but for tomorrow. Like I told the guys in the chat, I'm taking over the 2.5. It looked like Korea really wanted that second goal. It hit. And then we took over the 3.5 as well because, we figured Mexico was going to go for the draw and either get punished with a space in the back or actually pull it off. But Jaime, what I wanted to talk on was what you were talking about early before on the goalkeeper situation.
Yeah.
You finish your sentence like, I'm not being biased because I'm a Chivas fan. No, man, I think you're being super biased. At the end of the day, I was like you, like a year ago. Malagon, he got lucky. The team he faced didn't create this many chances. The defense didn't fuck up. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing: un portero que no tiene suerte no es portero. And if the team is luckier with Malagon and goal, then the team is luckier with Malagon and goal. Because every game we're coming up with an excuse for Tala. The right center backs didn't start. He got a shitty left back, or it was a golazo. They were scored on Malagon as well. Every time he starts, we're coming up with an excuse for him. At this point, Malagon has to be your guy till he proves you otherwise.
Oof. That was a hard pill to swallow there, Habibi, but I appreciate that. I think, if Malagon is going to be our goalkeeper next year, he's going to be exploited pretty bad. And I'll be the one that says, I told you so. I told everybody. I fucking saw this a mile coming. Right now, he's getting lucky, but his luck's going to run out eventually. And on the biggest stage, it's going to be pretty bad.
There was two players that I really did like tonight, and that was Huescas and Mateo Chavez.
Yes, sir.
I thought, like, going forward, especially, we were so much more creative with these two kids on the fullback spots. And that's something like that we should rejoice in and look forward to going forward because, I don't know, Jorge Sanchez, he offers fucking nothing, dude. He's just a body who's fast. He's not like a smart defensive player, and he doesn't do all that great in the attack. Like, he can't cross. He's a right back who
and
can't
Charlie
cross.
Rodriguez are the same, man. They should not be playing. They're the same player, different position. Should not be playing.
I thought Charlie was doing good. I thought he was good
fuck Charlie, man.
in his contributions tonight.
I will say
Charlie's playing because Mora is not there. That's the only reason Charlie's playing.
I really, really enjoyed watching both fullbacks start tonight with Huescas setting up Raul for that goal, and Mateo Chavez just being dominant on that side offensively. He's just got the energy, and just joined a team in Europe. I think he's got all the momentum going on his side. But at the end of the day, I know Aguirre too well. He's gonna pick Gallardo. I know he's gonna pick Gallardo. He's gonna pick his trusted, experienced players, and that's really unfortunate. But I think that position might be wrapped up.
Yeah, the thing about Gallardo, he rarely fucks up. But the thing about it as a fan looking at Gallardo is that he rarely contributes to the team as well. He rarely gets an assist or a goal. It's almost like never. I wouldn't surprise me if he has less than 5 combined goals and assists with the Mexican national team, maybe even less. So that's what Aguirre likes about him. He's not gonna cause you any mistakes, but as a fan, you're like, "What are you doing, man? All I see is running up and down. You're not getting a goal. You're not getting an assist. You're not creating danger. What's going on?"
He's also more physically imposing than Mateo Chavez. So I think like you gotta hit the weight room there. But yeah, I think the switches and the substitutions kind of changed the game for Mexico. I didn't like the second half from Mexico. Yeah, I think like a lot of momentum we had going kind of died in the it was two different games. Alexis Vega, you know, they made him come in. Diego Lainez got some minutes. I think he looked pretty fresh out there. Charlie Rodriguez, Jorge Sanchez, and Gallardo all came in the second half. Another player that kind of was lost out there is Berterame. You know, I didn't see much from him. And
They played him out of position, man.
Yeah.
He was that right winger. He's a striker, and I thought he was just wasted out there. Not just him, but like the team, like the right flank. Like I understand he attacks space well and he's fast, but he's not a real winger, and you handicap yourself when you put someone like that. So like I didn't see the point of that. I thought Diego Lainez, his stock went up. He had a really interesting moment where he broke free of his mark, and then he crossed the ball. I forgot to who scuffed the shot for a corner. He should have shot, but you know, he was generating, and he's not the same little dumbass kid that I used to see at Real Betis. Like he's a little bit, you know, more cautious and considerate of his opponents. He doesn't just fucking dribble into space and then lose the ball again and again. So there's a maturity to him now that he's like back to the selección. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more from him. Lozano, I thought he did decent. There was some good moments, but you know, unfortunately, nothing to, you know, solidify himself as a starter, I don't think. So like the wings, that's my most worrisome spot for me, because you know Alvarado's been dog shit for so long. Chino Huerta is injured, and then you know we have a bunch of morros that I want to see that aren't getting called up. Quinones not getting called up, so you know, big question mark there.
We have Joel joining us. He's been patiently waiting to get into the room. My bad, Joel. Welcome to the show. And a quick comment from our YouTube stream. Bring Disco Back says Ochoa play. If Ochoa played, we would have easily lost by 4 goals. But Joel, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Gentlemen, glad to be here. Pretty good game. I was thinking about what my angle was going to be. Mexico was losing 2-1, and it was going to be the lack of a goals for the selección. 0-0 in their first match against Japan, and just 1 goal, and it was Jimenez, which at this point we see a Mexico team very dependent on Santi and Raúl, who he's up there in age. So I mean, it's good to have him, but World Cup's still quite a ways away, and you need to have more than one player. So glad that he's still scoring, but I think Santi finally being able to score, it should, you know, lift a big weight off of him. He had that one shot earlier with the goalie doing that fantastic save.
Yeah, I know.
And I thought, man, this dude's just kind of cursed. You know, he just can't catch a break. He's a good player, but when he puts on the national team jersey, it's like he loses some of his mojo. But you know, he was on it, and he ends up scoring a golazo. And I think that was a great takeaway of if anything, you know, to have him at least get that, you know, get that off his back, and rescued one player. I think that's some of it what these amistosos are for me, because I don't judge how the selección plays as a whole and think, oh, they're not ready or they're lacking, because they're friendly games, and if you're gonna get a chance to experiment, to try out players, you know, to do something like how they're saying play with Berterame out of position, to see if it works, you know, or how it plays out. These are the games for that. And of course, the downside is that you could end up looking bad. And so I mean, this friendly, you're doing that, and we have a selección that Vasco has been there not that long, you know. So his proceso hasn't been that long, and he has a lot of things to figure out. And you're going to be playing teams that they could be on the other end of it. You know, they could have been working since since the World Cup ended, or even longer sometimes, and you're facing a finished product. So I never put much stock. I kind of have an idea how they're gonna play because we've seen it already when the tournaments are there. But on the amistosos, I rather he experiment and try things because that's the only chance he's gonna get. But so far, I've been, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. I just think Mexico's lacking goal. The selección, they need more goles. They have some players that should be able to do that. Lainez had a really good chance when, like, towards the end, he cuts in, he's in the box and he passes it.
Yeah, that
I
was
think he should have
stupid.
just shot. Yeah, so you need that killer instinct. You need to have that, to have that just kind of it's just in you, man. He might not have it. He might not have it in him, but both. I'm gonna use both as an example. He had that, You just see a chance and you'll just take it. You see it in the Boca Juniors game when they beat them like 4-0, I believe, when he's controlling the ball outside the box and he had a teammate there he could have perfectly passed it to, and he still takes his chance with like a volley shot and scores a golazo. And that's kind of like when you're an attacker or a forward, you have to be a little bit egoísta. They say you have to be a little bit, just thinking about yourself, selfish. You got to be a bit selfish in that regard. And I think he should have just shot it with everything he had.
I agree, Joel. Thanks for reminding me because that was a moment in the game that really frustrated me. He did everything right, and instead of just killing it, putting it away, he distributes the ball, and it wasn't even a great pass. So I was very frustrating just to like not see, players take the chance, just take a shot, fuck it, It's like, what do you got to lose? That's the one
I
thing.
blame his club for that, man. They do that at Tigres so much. They wait for that right moment. It's just, it's like they have them like robots, like Guardiola with Man City. I think that's probably the biggest struggle for a national team coach, like having players forget what they're taught at their club.
Yeah, for sure. Tomas wants to join in on the conversation. Thank you for requesting to speak. As a reminder for people new to Cantina, this is for y'all. Y'all can vent out, say whatever. We're here for you. Request to speak, and we'll add you on. Tomas, how we doing?
What's up, bros? Interesting game. It felt like two different games, right? Like the first half and the second half, they just didn't match. Don't know if it's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I get that we're not putting emphasis on the result score-wise, perhaps, for these friendlies because Mexico's goal is to solidify a lineup. However, there are some things that I did like. I think you guys mentioned it, but Lainez coming in, I guess he's kind of mimicking Mexico's super sub, but he's like a kind of like a dollar store version. I don't know if he's like Joel said, if he has that killer instinct to put some of these shots away, but he did look pretty good, decent. He had his moments. Santi, it was good to see him finally connect. It could be one of those moments where he gets that monkey off his back, but I still see chinks in the armor, and that's not a racial thing.
I don't know.
I was like, where's he going with this? Where's he going with this?
Hey, I love
I don't know,
I love kimchi and
cancel.
Korean barbecue. I got nothing against that, but I see Mexico making a lot of the same, like just like weird dumb errors, like just like I don't know if it's like laziness, lackluster, and I get it is a friendly and they're kind of trying to find their form, but maybe it's trauma. It's trauma as a Mexico fan watching them, against
generational trauma.
Yeah, it's generational trends like DNA. It's DNA. It's embedded in your DNA. I've seen it with like Argentina. These like lazy. Who was it? Was it Marcel Ruiz? Like he had a couple bad, like kind of lazy mistakes, and at an international level on the World Cup stage, like all it takes is just one lazy mistake and you're fucked. So, all in all, I don't think it was like a bad result, but I want to hear your guys. Maybe it's just me digging too deep into it. It felt like the mentality and the like the approach between this match and the Japan match was completely different. The first match against Japan felt kind of timid and like no sense of urgency. And this match against South Korea was kind of like, fuck it, like we'll just try some shit. And I don't know if that was on purpose or if maybe I'm reading too much into
I
it.
think it is. No, I don't think you're reading into it. That's what I was saying. It's the coach. He's going to experiment. He's going to try things. He's going to see what who the rival is and how they play, what they bring to the table, and play off of that. And do think they were great rivals to we just saw Japan, lose 2-0 to the United States. And it was like, is this the same Japan that played Mexico? And
It was not.
And I was,
It was not. It was the B team.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, and that's part of this. That's part of the friendlies. They were like, fuck it, let's give these guys a chance now. We didn't travel all the way over here to keep these guys on the bench. Let's experiment. Let's give these guys a chance. And now they don't look like the team that had Mexico against the ropes. And so we're gonna say Japan sucks? Not at all. That's just what these games are for. I think you're right. I think you're right, Tomas. It's like they look like different games, but that's you could say the same for Japan, and that's part of it. I think as a coach, you're gonna.
We had two players at fullback that are young. Purata from Tigres. It was his first ever start for La Selección. He's not really our guy. And one thing that I really liked about this, a change from this match, from the last one, was Lira starting. Right, he was replacing the injured Edson Alvarez.
I like Lira.
I like him, and I think he should be the 6. And I think Edson should be the center back instead of Montes, who I think is too slow. And I think that Vasco's going to come to the same conclusion because he's already done this.
Hey man, Edson is let's just call it like he's not in his best moment, and was fielded off because of injury in Oakland. So, and his situation with going to Fenerbahce and Mourinho getting booted.
That sucks.
His situation's up in the air, man. Like I hope he recovers quickly and he gets back to his form, but for the Selección to wear the captain's armband, bro, he just hasn't commanded. He hasn't been that presence that we need. And I'm not convinced that he should be starting for the national team.
Damn.
I will say one thing about Edson. Every time shit goes down, he's one of the first guys to stick up with his teammates. I'm not saying that's all you need to be a captain, but he is one of the few that shows a little bit of webbles when shit gets hot.
That's what Aguirre likes, though. So that must be why he gave him that armband, because Aguirre is all about
to stick up for you. Like if you get like slide tackle dirty, or if you're like this and some guy's making fun of your height, you can count on that to come through for the win. As far as like Tomas' point, I think with Mexico, Japan, and tonight Mexico, Korea, I think you have to look at the games that Mexico had played before that, which was like Costa Rica, Saudi Arabia, Honduras, USA. So you kind of get a little cocky. You fall in that comfort zone of CONCACAF. And then
I don't think that.
No, I think you come and play Japan and you're not expecting.
This Aguirre, though, man. Come on.
I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's a friendly.
It's a
friendly game and like a actual official match. They're always gonna have two different vibes.
Yeah, but Aguirre knows what's up. Marquez knows what's up. I don't think they would fall for that.
Joel, can I quickly add something? So I was at the training before the match. So Friday night I was there, and it was.
I was looking for you on the stands.
It was two completely different vibes in that training session. it's open to the media, so I think like maybe players, don't take it as serious.
Yeah.
But dude, the Japan team, I couldn't even see them train. They were like, no, you guys aren't allowed to like watch us.
Yeah. Cerrado.
But the vibe, the vibe was like they took that shit very serious, very serious. And then
Yeah.
when I'm watching Mexico, like scroll onto the field, they're all joking around. They're all like making fun of each
Jaime,
other.
They do sometimes one half closed and one half open.
No, I know. They probably had another training session earlier that day, and this was like the light session,
Yeah.
right? But I will say,
Yeah.
like the overall vibes is like, oh wow, like these guys are just like goofing off, like having fun. Like they're not really taking this game like that serious. And even like match day, like I didn't see that kind of intensity that Japan took this fucking serious, bro. Like they took this moment and they're like, we're already in the World Cup. And Mexico's an opponent that's been the monkey on our back. We haven't been able to get a victory against them.
But Mexico's
And they set the tone. They set the tone early in that match, and they put Mexico uncomfortable. Like I don't think Mexico thought that they were gonna like be locked in from the moment of kickoff. And you saw that early in the match. Like the pressure was getting to them.
You're completely right. I don't think they were expecting Japan to go ham, but I think part of it is like you were saying that that they're qualified, but Mexico is a host, and they're going to be a seeded team, and I think that's how Japan saw it. Is like we could be in your group, so we're gonna beat your ass, so that if we do get grouped, you remember that, And I think that's a good mentality, man. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't, I wasn't thinking of that, but I would have done the same, I was like, wait, I could be grouped with these guys. They're hosts. I'm gonna beat their ass. I'm gonna fuck them up. So that if we do get on the group, that I put some of that fear in them already, or at least you give your players confidence of it.
Like Mexico leading up to that game, like they were coming in cruise control, and then it's like, oh shit, and I gotta go this is a high speed game, and then you do the 0-0 against Japan. And now you go against Korea. Now you have the media pressure. Like, all right, you tie Japan. Mexican media doesn't respect Japan. As how they should. If you lose against Korea, dude, it's a whole different story. So I think that.
Wait, why is it a different story?
Are you kidding me? You didn't beat Japan. Now you lost to Korea. How do you think the Mexican press is going to handle that?
No, I'm just trying to see your point. I'm just trying to see the point. I understand your point. Okay, yeah. The two friendlies, and it went from bad to worse.
Like Joel, you even mentioned, that the 2-1, you were thinking of a different narrative until Santi tied it up, right?
It was, bro.
We were about to. We were all ready to fucking get the pitchforks out and everything.
Pitchforks and torches. No, I wasn't because like I was telling you guys, I don't put that much stock into the amistosos. Because I've seen it, man. I'm fucking old. I saw it with La Puente. He has the team, and he takes that at the tail end of the qualifier of the. I don't know if they were qualified, but at the end, of the cycle, and bro, his results were pretty cheeks. They were ass, and he ends up having one of the best World Cups, at least playing wise, and most memorable ones. And if you were to judge the lead up, you would have think these guys might not even get out of the group. And it was a group with two European sides, Belgium and Holland. Probably the last time. Pretty sure it is the last time Mexico has played two European teams. I think it is. Two European teams in the group. So that's why I don't. Sometimes friendlies, I don't put that much stock. I'm just trying to see what players look good, And for me right now, I think the team can hang. I think they can hold their own against most teams. But the saying, goles son amores. You need to score to win, and I think that's still lacking with Mexico. And you have some of these talented players there, Berterame, Jimenez. The other Raul, but Raul is actually scoring. So that's the one positive, but you can't be too dependent on that guy. another injury, a red card, a drop in form, whatever, and we're asked. So
Yeah, we need to have multiple
We-
threats.
we-
Is what you're saying.
exactly. I mean, look at Argentina. Look how many fucking strikers they have, man.
Well, that's the
Some not
thing.
even called.
Isn't Raul is like that's Mexico's hot hand, and
He
the
is, bro.
World Cup is not tomorrow, right? So anything can happen for an older guy.
Yes.
And
Not
if
like
some
a
shit,
year.
yeah, if some shit goes down, like, are you confident, or is anyone confident here that Mexico can fill that void? I mean, he
Yeah.
had a
But that's
he had
why
a ball-
Jimenez is so important.
yeah, he had a Borghetti like goal today, and that's not even. You know what? In a perfect universe, I don't even think like Raul is like a 1A type striker. I just think this is more so just what we're working with. He's very good, but he's the best that we have. So if he goes down, no one else is in form, and Mexico's really fucked.
Yeah, but that's why Jimenez scoring was so huge. And even then, it shouldn't just lay on one striker. To have two or three players that are capable of scoring, and Mexico has them. You know, Alexis Vega, Lainez.
Hold up.
They got a
Alexis
couple-
Vega was dog shit tonight, man. I think he's
I know,
too slow. I
that's-
think he's too slow.
But that's what I'm saying. It's frustrating because the talent is there. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's frustrating because the talent is there. I do think these players.
Alexis
can-
Vega is a
can
club.
be a-
He's a club player, but he's not a national team like.
Yeah,
player.
that could be true. That could be very well the case. You know,
From what I've seen,
that
is that when you get to a level high enough, the game is too fast for him, and he just his knees are bad. He's not quick enough.
He slows the game down.
knees are weak.
Knees
Arms
are
are sweaty.
sweaty.
Mom spaghetti. No,
Vomit on his own jersey already.
there's a reason why Alexis Vega isn't playing in Europe. Is all I'm saying.
Well, he did turn it down. I mean, he did turn down.
He didn't
an
want to
offer
get
Turkey,
exposed.
I think, or somewhere.
He knew if he went to Wolves, he would have been like, "Oh, this is too fast for me, too physical. I can't keep up."
Yeah, and by exposed, I'll probably say like that you know, having to work twice as hard. So I think that's what Jimenez has, and it's very admirable. So, I mean, this dude came back from a fucking career-ending injury. He fucking came back from that shit, and he's about to catch up Chicharo in goals. You know, he's getting close.
Yep,
Which
Santi.
says a lot about.
Santi. I don't know how updated Wikipedia is. He's sitting at 43. The record is 52 by Chicha. So he's 9 goals away from tying it. And yeah, I think he'll get there before his.
Wait, you said Santi? You mean Raul?
Oh, Raul, sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? He scored that many already? Hell, I know he missed games, but I missed that many. Yeah, he's there, man. But I do feel we've always had these like talented guys that look good in Liga MX. Never went to Europe, but at the international stage, they have always shined. Cuauhtémoc Blanco is one of them. He always in the selección. He was always, no matter who you put against him, this dude was gonna ball. Had other players like that. El Hermoso, you know, Oribe Peralta. Wait, am I confusing? I always confuse the Orbelin. No, Oribe, not Orbelin. Oribe. It's another one, right? Santos America, and dude fucking wins Olympic gold. He's scoring against Brazil in a final in fucking Wembley. You know, that's fucking. He wasn't faded, man. And that's we've always seen players like Luis Hernandez, another one. We said it before here, Copa America '97. He won the goal scoring award, which not seem like a lot, but he was competing against Ronaldo and I think Romario, which is fucking insane to think about it.
Yeah.
So we
El Matador had a crazy ass moment in Oakland. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on? So sorry, this is like going really off topic, but I was just like, this is the most random shit ever. They reunited a son and its mother. Like, I guess they hadn't seen each other in 15 years. and Luis Hernandez like brought the mom to the game, and in front of like 45,000 fans, they like reconnected, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now, dude? It was like something out of like a reality TV show, and like
He said a hot mom.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? And like Matador's just like doesn't know what to do, bro, because like they're like obviously like very emotional and like hugging each other, and like he's just like standing in the background like can I get my check, please? Like,
You remember Ernie McCracken? You guys ever seen Kingpin? Every state he goes, he helps a single mom.
oh, you're talking about that comedian, no? What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Bill Murray,
Yeah,
Bill Murray,
yeah.
bro.
of course.
He,
Love that movie.
Yeah.
he does a commercial. They do a commercial about him. He has that program. One of the kids like, sometimes when I wake up, he's already home. That's Luis Hernandez. Right? Every selección game, different parts. He would
Yeah.
reunite a single mom. He has a kid here. He had a kid.
I bet he
When he was
does.
playing with the Galaxy. Yeah, when he was playing with the Galaxy. And I wish El Más Sabio was here. And I don't see him. But I'm pretty sure he would know this. But he's playing with the Galaxy. It was like in the late 90s. And
Yeah.
he hooked up with this Brazilian girl. And she ended up pregnant, ended up having a kid, but I think he was already married at the time. But man, this must have been like,
Damn, bro, spilling out the fucking sauce, man.
yeah, no, dude, this is what, no, nah, because she was gonna get the child support, and his name was Luigi. So I wonder what happened. I think El Más Sabio must know. He's well connected in the LA soccer scene. We have to ask him whenever he's back. Dude must be a playing age. And I'm like, he has the genetics. Is he even playing?
Who knows?
He should be. Yeah.
We gotta look him up. I want to bring it back to the match against Korea and also Japan. One of the things that frustrated the most about these matches is I don't think Aguirre really did enough like recon. You got to take advantage of the fact that you're playing a team that you're taller than. You know, like I looked at the players, I'm like, dude, these guys are hella short. Like we should be exploiting that. And obviously Raul got his goal today. And he dominated in the air. I'm like, we needed more. Where was that against Japan? Why didn't we take advantage of the corner kick? I was so frustrated with the corner kicks in Japan because they did the fucking short corners. I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you doing a short corner against a team that is vertically challenged, bro? Fucking launch that shit in, bro. We got some 6-footers in there. Like,
this is where Osorio shined. He did. His stats were insane in corner kicks and free kicks, defense. I think the only team that beat him in that was England, and that's their specialty. But he was insane with that, and I think Aguirre is used to being the short. He probably forgot Mexico's much bigger now. But if you go back to when he was a player, yeah, Mexico was on the pretty average side. Not because they're short, I think that's been the stereotype. I think just because that's just the type of players that would end up, making it.
What I think is really interesting about this team by Aguirre, and I've heard it compared a lot by pundits like Osvaldo Sanchez, who said this team is like his Mallorca side, where they're like limited, where they are like nullifying, and they don't have a whole lot going forward. But they're more of a neutralizing force, and Mexico does this with their possession, where it's not really penetrative, and it's used more as a way to keep themselves from being scored upon. Right, we're uncomfortable without the ball, basically, and so like it's more like we're nullifying than we are dominating these teams. And Korea got the best of us on the counter, but like I feel like tactically Aguirre leaves a lot to be desired. Like he doesn't like. For instance, this Korean coach, his team was down. He repositioned them to tie it, and then he was really offensive to get that second goal. and then Son became the lone striker on the counter while they were 2-1 up. So like they made all these tactical changes to get the goal, and we did too. But I feel like that's not a strong suit of Aguirre. He's more of like fucking animo and fucking good times with the boys and fucking around, and I don't know, tactically inept. I think.
I agree. And
far.
he's
Wait, no,
he
no,
knows
wait,
he knows
wait, hold
he
on,
knows he knows
gentlemen.
how to work the press. He knows how to get them on their side. He has that that relationship with them. And look, dude, I saw the training session. That guy wasn't doing shit, man. He was having all his assistant coaches run that
Stanley
shit.
Marquez. Bro, that's what they're there for. Bro, you think this dude would have that long career in La Liga of all fucking places and save so many teams from relegation if he was just Aguante? Come on, man. Let's not take some credit from this guy. He's an old wolf. He doesn't
wanna give him
survive. He
credit.
hasn't survived that long just because he saw, he's just gonna butter your ass. Come on, he's giving some more credit. The two tournaments that he had to win on short notice, he won them, right? Gold Cup, Leagues Cup. Mex was crying because US kept taking their lunch money. You fucking reverted that. He got the W's. These are amistosos, man. Let's not. I'm telling you guys, and I know. Screenshot this. he's gonna play that quinto partido. I know it's not gonna be as memorable as it should be because there's like 60 teams at the World Cup. But he's gonna get that, and if anything, it at least gets that hump off Mexico's back of just not being able to get there. I always thought that's been
That's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction.
Look, no, not really, man. Come on, guys. Look, it's like 60 teams.
It's
That
48,
Panini
bro.
book looks like a
Relax. 48, man.
Compared to it used to be 16, man. That Panini book looks like a phone book. And a lot of stickers to buy. So that means there's a lot of shitty teams. There's gonna be a lot of shitty teams there, bro. A lot of teams that you can just whoop their ass. Look at right now. I wouldn't say they're that shitty though, because we that's the old me talking. Because we were talking on the after the game, we were kind of talking about how some of these teams that were normally they've been viewed as weak. They're not really as weak, and we've seen teams struggle in Italy, Germany, even Brazil, traditional powerhouse, is now having a hard time. And I think it was today, Bolivia beat Brazil.
Yeah, but
So now
they play like 30 million miles above sea level, dude.
I know, but they still beat them, They
No
don't really
shit,
beat
dude.
them often.
They're the only ones that can
I
fucking
know.
breathe up there.
Jaime, can you name me 3 Bolivian players? I don't even know who they are, man.
I only know
Nobody knows these guys. You see what I mean?
Mondeo, Enzo,
He plays at Pumas, man.
But to your point on Vasco, like I don't want to like disparage him. You're right. He does have a-
No, wait. You're backtracking it. Let me just finish my point on why.
Oh,
We'll get to that.
pues.
Because there's enough teams. There are going to be enough beatable teams. That's what I'm just trying to make. Mexico seeded. It's a high chance they're going to finish top of their group. And they're going to face another comfortable rival. They'll beat them. And then they'll get to the next. Which they've always done at home. They did in 70. They did in 86. And they came very close to even going a bit further. But I think they kind of need that right now.
And those are very good points. But like back to what I was saying about Vasco, and that's the fact that he is pragmatic. But he's not like a tactical fucking genius. He's not on the forefront of like the best soccer. Is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes he makes stupid decisions, like getting El Conejo instead of fucking Ochoa, or like today where he played Berterame on the wing. It was fucking wasted. He was wasted out there. And like you can't be doing this like with so little time to the World Cup. Like that's such a waste of a player out there against a team that you can get a result from. And so I don't know. I think he leaves a lot to be desired in regard.
But what's more important then? What's more important, to get a result or to rescue a player like Santi? 'Cause he could have just benched Santi, kind of like he did with
My gripe is
Quiñones,
that,
and had Berterame score. You know what I mean?
I like Berterame. I want him to be the third striker, but I don't think he excels on the wing. And we have wingers that could contribute more, like Lainez. He beat his man, and he scuffed that, and he let that shot go to waste, and he passed it instead. But like, what's to say that he wouldn't have created more of that if he had more minutes on the team, or if we called up someone like Isaias Violante or Quiñones, someone fast. Like Berterame took one of their spots as a right winger, and I don't think he contributed anything. And I don't fault Berterame for that, because I think Vasco is using him wrong. Like, it's the fault of the guy directing him, and that's Vasco in this instance.
We have some comments from the YouTube section. He says, not a question, but a comment. Bring back Juan Carlos Osorio. He would take chances and nurture young talent into the selección. But still, look at that bum, Eric Lira, being afraid of accepting a European offer. So, some comments there. Yeah, I think Juan Carlos Osorio, regrettably, he didn't he admit that he wished he would have taken the extension instead of turning it down. I think he could have.
Yeah, he did.
He could have taken what he did in 2018.
He thought he was tapped on the shoulder to be the next Colombian coach. So he refused the extension, and then he left after that tournament. And then it ended up not working out for Colombia. They opted with someone else. But like, the thing about Juan Carlos Osorio, yes, stacked like dead ball. He was great. I love some of the things that he did. Rotaciones ahead of his time, I thought. But he didn't win shit. And, like, the worst defeat Mexico suffered, I think, 7-0 at the hands of Chile, was with Juan Carlos Osorio. And he just shat his pants there. And he shat his pants against Sweden as well. And who else?
Yeah.
But he got some pretty substantial World Cup qualifying results on the road. I think that, like, we hadn't beaten USA in Columbus in a long time.
Columbus.
Yeah.
That's about it. I think the media did blew a lot of smoke in their ass. Even with Honduras, which saying, "Oh, they hadn't exactly played in that venue," so that's another one. But to me, the thing about Osorio was that he was never able to win an elimination match outside of Mexico, and that was the main one. Like, ultimately, if you want Mexico to succeed, you have to get that result in the elimination phase. Because Mexico has gotten those group.
I get it, but he could have taken those 4 years to like, all right, now I can make these adjustments instead of just like looking back and saying, oh, I could have done this now. And we ended up getting Tata, and like, I think we would have been much better under Juan Carlos Osorio than Tata.
To me, and for me, Tata wasn't that bad. If you look at his results, even at the World Cup, they're not that much different from what Mexico normally does. They win one, they lose one, they draw one. The only difference is that we're usually on the tail end of like, we're the team that qualifies. Mexico's the team that qualifies, despite needing that, like in that one World Cup where it was like, oh, Coreano, eres hermano or something, because Korea got a result that favored Mexico. So, like that. It just didn't happen this time. So now it was like, worst Mexico ever. But result-wise, they were the same Mexico ever. But the point was to try to do a bit better than was possible. And I think that's where Tata failed, where I felt he lost confidence. He lost confidence. I don't know if it's in the team or in himself. But hearing that he
was
has
fed
to
up with
leave
the fucking press and how they were treating him.
Yeah.
And, I think it was deserved criticism because the team just looked like shit under him. And he was also not like, he was a double agent, bro. Look, what he did against Argentina is the most disgusting shit I've ever seen in my life, bro. He's a fucking double agent who was secretly just being paid by the Argentine Federation to, dismantle us.
So with your prediction there for the Quinto Partido, does that have a lot to do with the fact that Mexico now has a Mexican coach, and it seems like Mexico responds.
At home.
responds better to a Mexican coach because, to your guys' point, I don't see Tata,
Yeah.
getting into that Mexican player mentality. Osorio kind of did a little bit in parts, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know that they sort of like Federación, sort of like make sure to check back to check off a lot of the boxes. He's not just former Mex national team player. We played a World Cup. He coached 2 World Cups, and then there's Marquez there, another, one of Mexico's all-time great players, who's there with a lot of experience as well, because he was in Europe and he was part of one of the most iconic Barcelona teams ever. So there's a lot going on there. Like, there's too much stuff for you to still fuck up. I'm just saying, you get it wrong. If you lose because the other team beat you, that's one thing. If you lose because you shit the bed, you didn't do it right. You didn't really scout, or you got the tactics all wrong. So I don't see none of that happening. Mexico, and then Mexico playing at home, they're hosts, they're seeded. Seeded teams always do well for the most part. Only one seeded team shut the bed. That was South Africa, as the only team in history to fail to get out of the group stage. Every other seeded team at least gets out. Mexico in the past in the 2 World Cups they hosted, they made quinto partido. They've been stuck there, since, but they always got in there. But I mean, just the fact that it's that many more teams, that means you're gonna avoid the bigger teams.
No, man. Joel is like Aguirre. He's not doing his homework.
The
reason Mexico is gonna make el quinto partido, is because you play your 3 group stage games, you make it out, you have a round of 32 game,
and then a round of 16,
and then you have round 16.
Yeah.
So you made el quinto partido, but still the same.
Yeah. Don't matter. You still made it, bro.
What do you mean you still made it? Get the fuck out of here, you scared.
You still made it.
I don't think you're realizing what I'm saying.
I said that.
You're on timeout, bro.
I said this before.
God damn it, Juan.
That's why I said that there's that many teams. That's why I mentioned the number of teams.
But you didn't make any progress. You're still losing the same game you've always lost.
So you guys are saying that he's making his quinto partido prediction on technicality.
Minimal. That's a minimal.
Technicalities.
That's my minimal.
I lost my virginity. Oh yeah, to a hooker. It's like, well, that doesn't really count, but
you still lost it. What do you mean? You
still lost it.
You still got it in, right?
I have a question for y'all. From these call-ups and these matches against Japan and Korea, what are some players that you never want to see on La Selección ever again?
Chucky.
Really? Chucky?
How much Chucky hate? What's up with all this Chucky hate?
Wow.
I think it's the Napoli thing. I think it was just the for me, it's been I don't know, man. I think I was deceived greatly by him. And he's getting older, and what was once his strength of being the speedster guy, I don't know if maybe I just haven't watched MLS games nearly enough to say, has he evolved his game? Like, what does he bring to the table at this point that a youngster on Mexico squad couldn't fulfill? That's my question.
I like it. I like the hot take. For me, it's Chiquito Eric Sanchez. You can have him or not have him. It makes no absolute difference to the game. He is not the same guy that had a really good run at Pachuca.
Man, I should go back on that Chucky thing real quick. With him, the thing that always pissed me off about Mexican coaches is that they would use him how you described it, as a speedster. And if you watch him with Napoli and other teams, he vary between a winger, false nine, a lot more freedom. And every time he came to play to Mexico, they used him like Jugardem. They should shoot him long balls, chase him down the wing, and send him across. And Chucky has never been that player at his clubs. Like, it just makes no sense to me why they try to use him like that with Mexico, when
That's
at the
true.
club he doesn't play like that.
And Napoli, the times that were unique when I would see him play would be he actually in baseball, right? There's like what's that pitch? It's not a fastball. It's a changeup, right? Where you kind of mix things up. He did in moments adjust the speed to which he played and how he played. In Napoli, he showed instances of that. So it was very very odd to see him play there. And when he's on national team, he's like you said, he's the speedster guy, and that's all they do. And I don't know if that's one of those things where they're setting him up for failure, or he's just kind of embraced that role and just said, "Fuck it, that I'm the speedster guy." I don't know.
I think he's done now, but I think back then they did set him up to fail.
Yeah. And now I haven't watched him play now, but do you guys think he's evolved his game a little bit, kind of the way, like I don't know, like Jordan in his prime when he was athletic as fuck, and then as he got older, he developed like a jump shot to slow shit down. Do you see him developing like a different wrinkle to his game, or no?
You know, I think if you follow the footprint or blueprint that Andres Guardado laid out for the national team, right, in his career, he started out like on the wing, and he had that speed and that energy, and then he kind of like didn't he start playing like left back, and then he eventually moved into the midfield, like. But he made those adjustments, he made those tweaks, and he worked on his game and he worked on his craft. And with Chucky, like I think he's just living off of his hype and his name and his previous accomplishments because I really haven't seen him evolve at all. And I think it was a major mistake taking an offer to go to the MLS at that point in his career. I think he should have stayed out in Europe. And that just goes to show the mentality that he has. He's just not, he doesn't want it. He just wants to get his money and retire. I think the peak was 2018, scoring against Germany. And since that, it's just been a downslope.
So Chuky's got 9 goals and 6 assists in the MLS. So, you know, I do think he has grown. Like, I feel like when I watch
MLS,
him,
bro.
he doesn't run as much. You know, he has to choose when he can sprint as fast as he can. I think because of the muscle injuries and because he's older now, he doesn't have that much juice left like he used to. Also, his decision making has improved. I think my biggest gripe in his second stint at PSV was that he was making all the wrong decisions, touching the ball too much, shooting at goal when he had options open. You know, like every decision was wrong. And so I think he's improved in that department. But like Jaime said, it is MLS, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's at a lower level, but how much lower than the Dutch league? I don't think that much.
What about you, Rifalo? What's a player on this process, this proceso that you're like, I've seen enough, thank you, but no thank you?
Montes, it's too slow for me. Always late to react, and his positioning isn't good enough to offset how slow he is.
Too bad we don't have too many replacements. So unfortunately, I think he's still gonna stick around for the proceso.
I like Purata, and I think Edson is destined to be our center back. And like I said earlier, Vasco has put him at center back already, and so had Jimmy. But it's more relevant what Vasco does, right? Obviously, and not to toot my own horn, but I predicted the 2-2 draw tonight. I just, so you guys should listen to me. I'm smart.
Okay, you predicted it when they were down 2-1. I mean, that was wishful thinking.
You obviously don't listen to the pod because we had a post pod during the Japan game, and I made the 2-2 prediction there. But thank you for showing your ignorance.
Run it back. I want to see it. I want to hear that clip.
It's on Twitter Spaces for Habibi and all the fans out there.
Yeah, for those listening, last episode was impromptu on Twitter Spaces. It lives exclusively on there, which is another reason why you should be following us on Twitter. But yeah, I think there's so many players that I'm like, thank you, but no thank you. Chiquito Sanchez is one of those players. I also think Piojo Alvarado. I'm a Chivas fan. I'm like, bro, I would take Lainez over Chucky and Piojo right now. Easily.
Yeah, Piojo's mine as well. I mean, I just see him start come off the bench, stay on the bench like tonight, and not one moment are you expecting anything positive out of him. So it just feels like he's taking up space.
I had a rant on a earlier episode about why are we like using our best players in the U20 World Cup, and why are we trying to win a U20 World Cup? Like, who gives a fuck? Have those fuckers be playing these matches. We would have learned a lot more if we had, Montiel, Gil Mora, Camberos. If we had those options for the Japan and Korea game, I think that would have gone a lot farther than winning a youth tournament. Who gives a shit, man? I think we need to have those players incorporated into the senior side immediately. Light a fire under these fucking sacred cows. I'm sick of it, man. I'm tired of seeing the same fucking players get these opportunities. I'm like, bro, we already know what they're capable of. We already know what we're getting with these players. Fucking light a fire under their ass. Get these young guns out here and show them up, man.
It's interesting
But-
because
but
I've been
they will.
seeing a
They
lot
will
of
be
like
there.
counter to that. Like I've been seeing people say that Gil Mora is like, let's pump the brakes, like slow down. He should we shouldn't put that much pressure, or
Fuck
he's
bro.
he's not that good. I don't know if it's
Nah,
gatekeeping. I don't know if it's gatekeeping or just like
that's bullshit. That's bullshit argument. If he was like a young, promising 16-year-old that's barely seeing minutes in the league, sure, make that argument. But if he's a guy that has like 6 goals in 8 games, he's played a Gold Cup final with the senior team, and he was influential in those 2 games that he played. No, he is way past that. He deserves all the attention.
Yep.
It's up to him to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
He's a professional. He's a 16-year-old, but he's a professional now.
This isn't like a Marcelo Flores situation that was clearly he was just way too green for the senior side.
Yeah.
No, Gil Mora is the truth, and he's shown that he can, in those moments, he can be that guy. And he was desperately missed in our midfield in these 2 friendlies. And I get it, you want to, the proceso, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, fuck all that. Why? Who gives a shit? Lamine Yamal isn't doing that. Pele didn't do that. Messi didn't do that. Just fucking throw them out there.
Wait, are you comparing them? Are you comparing them to those players?
Mbappe, like, bro, it's just like.
Are you comparing Mora to all those guys you just named?
I'm not.
I will compare his
you pretty much
situation.
are, bro.
His situation.
Hey, no, hold up. I will compare the situation. He is in the same situation as them. He came in through the
Is he
scene
at that
young.
talent level?
Well, you're comparing their talent level now
No,
that
I'm
you
just
know how they're.
asking.
You're
I'm
comparing.
asking. I'm just
Okay,
asking.
well, you're asking compared to guys that we already know how their career ended. So if you compare it
No,
to,
not every
it-
career are right now.
but the mind is not going to be able to separate the 2. But if you compare it to their situation when they broke out, no one cared about their age. They broke out. They were good. They show they can ball. So keep them
They were
playing.
also in better teams. Pele was playing in Santos. That's not just at that time. It
And
wasn't
that
just
doesn't
like
help
average.
Mora.
Well, he's
That he's
playing
playing for
he's-
Tijuana and he's being influential for
it's a bit
Mexico in the
different.
final.
No, he's
No,
good
Santos
player. I'm just
was on a
saying,
world
there's a
tour
bit
and busted
different.
Everybody up, man. Like
Yes.
Juventus, like all the best teams in the world. So
Yes, and Niveles,
was
eh.
playing for Santos.
Yeah, so doesn't that make it more
Juventus
difficult for Mora to go from Tijuana to the Mexican national team? How
No, it
many
makes it more
veterans?
difficult
How
to
many?
break into
How many
a world-class team
25,
way.
28-year-olds from Tijuana were getting called up to play for Mexico?
Okay, look, bro. This happens
many
a lot in
grown
Uruguay
men
and
from
Argentina
Tijuana?
and Brazil.
No. How
Okay,
many?
yes, it does.
We're comparing
Because you're
Mora
just
to
saying it
other
as a Mexican, bro.
Let's
That's why.
compare him.
That's why
Let's
to you it's such a big deal. But in many other places, it's pretty common. It's pretty. He's a good player though. But I just, to me, it's like, let's not make that mistake of comparing him to these world-class players that are playing in teams that are like on another level than Mexico. That's when we start having these high expectations. I want the best for him. I'm not putting a ceiling on him either. I don't know how far he could get. He can be
No, you are
world-class.
putting a ceiling on him
That's not
by
up to
saying he
me.
should be playing youth tournaments, or he should
No,
be
I'm not
getting
saying he
called up
should
to
be.
that.
The youth tournament, first, it's not like the under 20 plays year round. It's just one tournament. He's already part of the senior team, and he will be slotted back in. But I know Jaime says like, who cares? Who cares? It does because it helps. It helps. It's going to help a lot of the youth in Mexico. Ultimately, having this strong under 20, under 23, it helps get a lot of players to Europe. And I know that's something that a lot of fans want, and it will help because the more Mexico is.
Mora's going to
It's,
Europe regardless of playing the U20 or
Yeah,
not.
dude.
I know he
already-
is, but he will help. He will help
You
other
know
guys
he
do
is, and
that.
you're using it as an argument. He's going to
No,
Europe
listen,
regardless of the U20 or not.
He is. No, I know.
The
I know,
only
but I'm
I
saying
said it the
he
last
could-
episode. The only
I was saying
reason
he could help other players.
he's only
Because the
going to that World Cup
Mexicans in the
because
bucket
FM
argument.
does not want to be embarrassed. That's the only reason he's going.
What? No, he's going because he's earned it. He
He's
won his
going
place
because they
there.
do not want to be embarrassed, man. They're playing
How are
Brazil,
they gonna get
Spain, and
in?
Morocco. Brazil,
You mean
Spain, and
under 20?
Morocco. Yeah, that's the
First,
only
you have
reason
to
he's
make
going.
them-
He's going to the under
No, it's
20s
not
because
to
they don't
get
want to get
embarrassed.
embarrassed.
No way.
They want to send their top
Nah,
guns
man.
at that level.
You know what's crazy is like
No, you-
there's people saying that Mexico are like favorites to win this fucking tournament. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like,
Nah, man, that group looks
what
set.
kind of
if they make
delusion?
if they make it out of that group, they have a chance.
And
But-
also-
Wait, first, who's saying this? Wait, it counts who says it, though. I'm
What?
gonna put stock in who's saying this. If it's, all Mexican football, that's one thing.
No,
If
dude, it's been said on like through the
credible
internet.
journalist-
It's been said on through the internet, like the broadcast and stuff. They've been like saying shit like that. I'm like, number one, let's just get like a base like fact. Like, what is the point of like the U20? Like, what is the goal of the U20? Is it to develop players or is it to win championships?
Both. It depends. It depends. Some Mexico as a country needs to win. They need that. They need because we don't have a winning culture. We just don't. It's not there. So you need to develop that. And if you're just hoping to win at the World Cup, that's every 4 years. This is every 2 years. So you need to start winning more tournaments, FIFA type tournaments as often as you can. Unfortunately, the one that Mexico won, FIFA Confederaciones, they stopped playing it. But it's still a massive win for Mexico. They have an Olympics. Again, it's every 4 years. But this is under 20. A lot of players, like Ron was saying a few podcasts back, they get scouted from there and then end up in Europe. And that's something that a lot
He's
of
already
Mexico
being
fans
scouted,
want.
regardless of this tournament. He's already
I
being
know,
scouted.
So a
But
guy
it has opened the
like
door for more
Lamine Yamal en España, ¿lo protegieron o jugó? Like
do you mean?
was he playing that role of like with the major like men's national team in Spain? Was he were they protecting him, holding him back, or do you think they just kind of threw him out to the wolves? Like, hey, dude, you're fucking good. Like you're on the
Well, I think he'd be thrown to the wolves. You're surrounded. That's a world class team, man. I think you're.
Hold
You know
on.
what I mean?
I don't think you can compare it yet because he hasn't been incorporated into an Olympic cycle yet. And so what Mora is doing with the U20s right now is cultivating a serious run at winning the Olympics in a few years, right? With this crop of players. And that's something that we
Yeah.
haven't seen Spain do with Lamine Yamal. But I have a better example, Pedri. When Pedri burst onto the scene, he was like, 19, 20 years old, tearing it up for Barcelona. He played the youth tournaments as well as the senior team call-up. So he played the Olympics and he played the Euros. And he got injured because of it. But they were like, we need you for both. You're available for both. We're going to use you for both. And that's what I want to see done with Mora. I want a team built around for an Olympic run, and I want him to play these senior national team levels as well. I want
Yeah.
the whole thing to flow through.
Dude, Pedri went viral with a meme of him because he had like dark bags under his eyes by the end of the season, bro.
He had 73 games that year.
Yeah, like that meme of him just went viral. It was like, holy shit, let the kid rest, man. Like he's white, he's not a slave. Like, what's wrong with you?
But the thing is that Pedri is a Giga Chad, man. Like all these professional players are Giga Chad. They want to win it all, man. This is their dream.
Yeah.
And they're all in. And so
Well,
like
and-
Not my man's way, but a 18-year-old, 70
No, yeah.
games in the season, playing every 3 days. Not my man's.
When Brazilians, bro, check out them Brazilians. They They're going to be in the press conference that Brazil Mexico's going to be like 80 games.
The best
They're playing 80 games.
the best analogy I can give it to you is like you have a kid that was doing really good in the minor leagues. He got called up to the major leagues, went to the All-Star game, and was that guy. And then we're like, hey, actually, we have a chance of winning the Little League World Series with this guy. So let's bring him back to the Little League World Series and have him win that because that looks good for him. That looks good for our country. But it's like, bro, he's already fucking hitting homers for the fucking major leagues. Why the fuck are we going backwards? Just fucking.
But Olympics predates World Cup.
I'm not talking about the Olympics. I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about Himura missing out on these 2 friendlies that would have been very valuable for him.
Korea, bro.
Versus a fucking under 20 World Cup in next month.
Hey, Jaime, you don't get to compare this dude to Lamine Yamal and some of these other guys, and then say he needs a Molero against. Or
it's not a Molero. These were very important. These were good preparation matches.
Okay, but player that good doesn't need an amistoso. You know, they don't need friendlies against these teams. They're already that damn good.
We need to look what our final 11 is gonna look like. And right now, Aguirre is doing. Aguirre's not. He hasn't had full access to all the players. He hasn't had access to like Elias Montiel, Camberos, Gil Mora, and plus all these senior teams. They need to have a definitive roster.
You know what? But look, I'm gonna tell you this: those players don't really need.
They need to gel together. They need to play together because they haven't played together.
The team needs to gel together, but I'm saying the player individually.
That's the whole point of having these fucking windows, bro, is to prepare for the World Cup. How are you gonna have two different teams right now? Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, these under 20 kids that are, could make it to the World Cup, we'll figure out what to do with them after. Like, no, dude, like you have so many windows to do this before you ship off and start the World Cup next year. Like, there's not that many windows left, bro.
But if you're that good, you're not. He's not going to gain anything he don't already have just because he played Japan and Korea. These players like.
What do you mean, man?
Look at,
you learn.
Look at Chicharo. No, that's that talent. It
does more for your career playing against grown ass men than playing against. Why handicap yourself at 20 under 20, bro? Why handicap yourself against?
He's not handicapping himself.
Yes, he is. You're telling me he wouldn't have learned something playing against like Sun? You don't think he would have learned playing against like grown ass men today and the day before?
His talent supersedes that. Look at, for example, Chicharo, right?
Bro, I'm done with you, bro.
He lands in England. He didn't have all these games to his name. He didn't have to spend 2 years in the lower leagues to learn the European game. First season in England.
Dude, Chicharo didn't play. He didn't even go to the World Cup, the under 17 World Cup.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why the fuck is Gil Mora going to that shit? It doesn't matter.
But Chicharo didn't go.
He doesn't need the under 20. The under 20 needs him.
Because other players were judged better than him. It wasn't like he was killing it. He was actually not even getting playing time. That's where my point is coming from. He was lacking more playing time than even other players his age. And he gets to Europe and he killed it because that innate talent.
Bro, this is like has nothing to do with the situation we're talking about right now.
It does. I'm giving you the clear example.
It's not.
You're saying,
it's not the same example.
So much more from this amistoso. It is, because I'm telling you, it's not going to benefit him to this point of he's not going to unlock an achievement. What he's going to do with the under 20s, though, is going to be beneficial for the whole country.
Who gives a fuck, dude? We're not going to.
As a Mexico fan, you should. Dude,
I don't think you understand. We need these players now playing for the senior side. Like, fuck the U20, bro. Like, fuck that project. We need these guys to be incorporated into this team. We need to do this now because, again, we only have a couple windows before the World Cup. We only have so many games of preparation.
He's going to the World Cup. Look, man, Mexico's not winning this World Cup.
And I don't trust Aguirre. At the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. I don't trust Aguirre. I think Aguirre is going to end up picking senior players. I think he's gonna take players that we don't like.
He's at the World Cup, bro. He's gonna be there. He's
probably gonna take Piojo over like a Camberos. He's probably gonna take like Chiquito Sanchez over Montiel. Like Gil Mora might get to the might get to the World Cup because of the pressure, the marketing, all
No,
the.
there's no Mike. He
No,
is,
Hidden
Mike.
Mora is going. Hidden Mora is
He's
going.
not,
I may
man. Come
interject,
on.
guys.
I can tell you
I
right
don't
now.
trust
I,
Aguirre. I don't trust
Come on,
Aguirre.
man.
I can
I don't
tell you
trust
right now
him.
that
in the
Cambreros,
final.
Cambreros is not going. I can promise you that right now. But
We
Hidden Mora
went
is
from
going.
Aguirre's not even calling youth. We went from Aguirre's now gonna call youth to he failed to youth in the final to
No,
now you
that's
don't
what I'm
trust
saying.
him to
Mora
call
is
him.
going. Mora is going.
Yeah,
And
but I'm
I
saying the
think
narrative
Mora is
keeps
going to
changing.
start, which goes against the whole argument of he should be with the national team if he's going to start in the World Cup.
Especially after the shit games by Orbelin Pineda and who else? Who's playing in the pocket this last game? Oh, Chiquito. He didn't do too bad. Orbelin was worse. But yeah, Mora is definitely going to play. And while I understand where Joel is coming from, and I told you why he's being called up to the youth team, I'm going to have to side with Jaime on this because while I like the idea of us competing for everything, we don't have the resources to do it. We have to capitalize on what's most important, and that is.
Wait, you don't have the resources to win in under 20?
We don't have the resources.
Mexico has won under 17. They won Olympics.
We haven't.
Are you
You
telling
know
me
you think they can win
resources
under
for
20?
everything?
No. I'm saying that we can't spare the youth players from this call up.
Yeah, you can.
I don't.
Okay, what's more likely to happen? Mexico wins an under 20 or Mexico wins the
Okay.
World Cup?
All right.
No, just
Oh, wait.
that question.
Well, no.
What's more
Wait.
likely to happen?
If you have a
What's more
star
likely to
player,
happen?
you have a star player. You have Raúl Jiménez. You saw with the U.S. national team. You had these two friendlies, and Raúl and the coach says, "You know what, Raúl? I don't want Raúl. I want him to enjoy this vacation. I want him to rest and focus on his club." The fans would say, "What the fuck, man? That's our best player. Like he needs to be playing these games because the World Cup's coming up." It's the same thing with Hidden Mora. If you are expecting Hidden Mora to start in the World Cup, why are we less than a year away from the World Cup and he's not with the national team?
Exactly.
He needs to be building
It's
chemistry
needed.
with. He needs to be building chemistry
He's
with
needed under
these
20.
guys.
He's not needed.
You don't need him at the under 20s.
You don't
The
need him.
under
You don't need
20s
him
is
at
not a
an amistoso,
requirement.
bro.
You're not
You do not
required to
need him
win
in
the
an
under
amistoso.
20s.
Look,
You're not
if there's
required to
no-
win
is he
the
getting-
under
Is
20s.
he getting called up to
You're
the under 20
required
over
to
a Copa
put on a good
America? I'll
performance.
be with you.
You're
But this is
required
not
to
Copa
put on
America.
a good
This is not a
performance
tournament.
as
It's
a
in
host
frenzy.
nation.
What is
You're
more
required to
likely,
put
the
on a
sixth
good
game,
performance.
The sixth game or the U20 World Cup? What's more likely?
Wait, what happened?
Like the sixth game or the U20 World Cup? What is more likely for Mexico?
The sixth
The
game.
sixth game?
Yeah, because
Bring
it
the
used to
guy
be
you
fifth
need.
game. It used to be the fifth game in the World Cup that was the goal. Like, let's get to the fifth. But because of the new
Yeah.
format, we really should be aiming for the sixth game in the World Cup, and that's very likely, I think, because we're seeded, because we're pragmatic, right? So we're close to achieving that. That should be the aim, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is closer, a U20 or that? And what is more important? What holds more weight over a long period of time? It's going to be the sixth game. And that's what we should be aiming for. And we have a better chance of achieving that if Mora is playing day in and day out.
But you could achieve that without Mora. You could achieve Mexico can achieve that without
Come on,
Mora.
bro.
Yeah, they can.
You make an excuse for
can.
every argument, bro. Cállese,
No,
ya.
I'm
Vete
not.
a dormir, pinche viejo.
Achieving the sixth game is not that
It could be
that
achieved,
big
but
of a thing.
the people
It's not that
Wait,
big of a
achieving
deal.
the sixth game is not that big of a deal.
Yes.
That's all Mexico ever talks about every World Cup. Llegar al quinto partido. which in this
We're
case is
talking
the sixth game.
we're talking about Mexico being seeded, and now it's a different World Cup with 48 teams, and
The
its
sixth
chances
game
are better.
The
The
sixth
chances are
game
better.
is
You're playing at
quarterfinals.
home,
The
and
sixth game is quarterfinals.
there's
That's
all
all that
these
matters.
like teams that are at your level or less. That's why it's not that. Even if they did it, which I think it'll be great, but then it's still not that great. If you really think about it.
I think, Joel, you're not misinterpreting, but underestimating is the fact that, like, I agree, like, Hidden Mora might be a lock-in for the World Cup next year. It doesn't mean that he's just gonna. It doesn't mean he's just gonna like. Oh, this isn't FIFA, bro. You just don't take players and be like, oh yeah, they're just gonna like fit right in and they're just gonna start gelling like right off the bat. Like,
He's still gonna have a lot of players with the senior national team. It's not like he's never going back. So if you guys make it seem like he's
I'm
gonna
just
be
saying,
stuck
like,
with under up until the World Cup starts.
If we even want to give them a just like a slight chance of seeing what they're capable of, like especially if you're talking about fringe players like Amberos, maybe Yael Padilla, like players that might not even be considered by Aguirre. Like this would have been a great opportunity to just prove them wrong and be like, you know what? These are guys that are like the next generation, and you know they might not make they might not make it. Hold on, let me finish.
It's an amistoso.
No, I'm just saying like this would have been a great window to just throw them out to the line and see. Well, let's see if they can hang with the big dogs, because we know what we're going to get out of them in the U20. They're in the group of death. They might have a great showing. They might even get out of the group. They might even win this World Cup. And then they're going to be like, oh, okay, but they're not ready for the World Cup next year because we haven't seen them play against, you know, the senior side. And a lot of the players don't know them that well because they don't play with them. So it's like, oh, they're the future for 2030, and it's just like you miss this opportunity to just see what they have now, what they can prove now. Because we already know what we're gonna get with Chucky Lozano. We already know what we're gonna get with the Piojo Alvarado. We already know what we're gonna get with Jorge Sanchez. This is the opportunity to give youth players the chance to show what they can do for the senior side.
Yeah, but
and give them a chance to win that spot next year.
The whole saying they're not ready. That meant that line of thinking. I think that's where we're seeing it different, because I don't know where you guys are getting that from, that the coach is going to think they're not ready.
Because it's Aguirre, and he's fucked over us twice.
Did Aguirre not take...
Aguirre chose Oscar Perez as his starting goalkeeper in 2010, bro. You cannot trust this guy.
Poet, you were literally praising Chicharito at United.
Did Aguirre not take him?
He did take Chicharito.
Aguirre didn't start our hottest player in the World Cup.
He did not take Gio and Vela too.
Who did he start over Chicharito?
Bro, he chose Guille Franco, injured, a hack. When we could have started, with Chicharito. We probably could have won those fucking games if he had started Chicharito.
But he took him,
and he could have. It doesn't matter, bro. He can't be trusted.
He didn't start him.
He took him. But to me, it's not going to be the whole he's not ready. It's going to come down to, is that player better than the other players?
No. You're going way too deep into it. All it comes down to, this all comes down to, where is your priority?
You're just
ignoring priority as the host nation getting ready for the World Cup, or is your priority winning a U20 World Cup? What is your priority?
Everything.
No, it's not everything.
You can't have everything. It's either one or the other.
Different teams. You're making Mexico look like
15 minutes ago,
like a little team.
No, cállese.
Like some little team that need to pull out Llano just to have a chance.
Pelé played for Santos. Pelé went on a world tour. Look at who Lamine Yamal plays. You look at this. And I'm gonna use your same argument. We are not those countries. We are Mexico. We are Mexico.
But I'm not making that comparison.
So why are we going for everything all of a sudden? Why are we going for everything all of a sudden?
Because these
focus on your biggest battle. Your biggest battle is doing a good showing as the host nation.
First, Mexico has a good chance of winning under 20. They could achieve that. That's very probable.
Struggling the most in the final third. All right, what did he contribute in the Gold Cup? In the Gold Cup.
He does, and he played the final, didn't he? He played the final. He played it though, but he played it.
He did. But
that's all you need to know.
What I'm saying is that he contributes to the final third. Where are we struggling?
Yes.
The final third. So the answer is
he's still there.
Bringing the guy who helped in the final third in these last matches prior to the World Cup, because there's no time to waste. There's
more matches.
No.
Dude,
no.
Come
like,
on.
at this point in time, team chemistry.
No, he already knows.
Is the team?
It is. It is, and it usually comes down to like 7 players.
Like Gallardo, Vega, Marcel, they have that chemistry because they play day in, day out. Gil Mora does not play with these guys, and we're
these players just laid in
with these guys in preparation to the World Cup, less than a year away.
How many players did Guardado play before the World Cup?
Maybe 10 games.
Look, we're not. How
many did Guardado play? How many did Guardado play before the World Cup?
This old man's gonna die on his sword. Let's just move on.
I'm not gonna die on his sword. You guys are just ignoring the samples that've been there. Was Guardado getting played all these games before the World Cup?
You do realize that throwing a guy in the wing is completely different than a guy in your midfield.
Oh, now we're moving goalposts.
No, it is 2 different positions.
Now, because it's positions.
It is 2 different positions.
Playing all these games now.
On the wing, You throw like an idiot on there who's not afraid to get hurt. Those charges. And then in the midfield, you play a high Q guy who pulls the strings of your team. It's two completely different
Let's
things.
go back to the Guardado example. Did we get to the quinto partido with Guardado when we just threw him out there? No, we didn't. So it didn't work. You know, like our objective.
Okay, so you're telling me that he's the guy that's gonna do it.
He's part of
It
the
all
team,
comes
right?
down.
And
No.
I'm saying-
You're mentioning just one guy. So you're basically saying we
It's
have
not
to
just
put
one
all
guy, Joel. I'm talking about.
But that's what
I'm talking
Riff
about.
is saying. That's what Riff is saying.
I'm just
not
saying,
you, Riff.
Montiel. There's other players on that U20 that we
Yeah.
can use right now. Like right now. I'm not talking about. Let's see what happens after the. No, I'm talking about right now, bro. Make an impact immediately.
Obed Vargas.
We have El
Well, I mean,
Beeper
even
joining
under
us.
20.
Hold on.
I think
What's going on? What's going on?
Let me bring in El Beeper, El Más Sabio, bro. Help us, man. We got this argument, and we were talking about the U20 and how, you know, Gil Mora and a lot of these prospects, we could have used them tonight. We could have used them in Oakland, and, you know, I think like they need to start gelling and start being incorporated into the senior side if we intend on using them for the World Cup next year.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? I digress a little. I think there's gonna be time for the team to come together. I mean, Vasco's working certain parts. They're gonna have I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a lengthy camp before the World Cup, and they're gonna have a bunch of friendlies from here. We're like 10 months out, so I'm not too worried. I mean, I've seen Vasco work in 2002, and the team that he started with was kind of totally different than the one he ended with in Japan and Korea. So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, you know,
was that a fracaso or
obviously
a success?
he played today with an alternative squad because he still has to see things, and I think that's fine. Like I told you, I saw more. I followed this process in 2002, and it really doesn't. Nothing surprises me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, we all know what happened in 2002 and in 2010. So it's just
they had come on, they had a good group stage in 2002, and then just fucking.
No, it was Aguirre shitting the bed.
Wasn't that bad. It was
Aguirre shitting the bed.
versus the
are
US.
referring to previous runs
it could've gone
as
both
like
ways.
some sort of justification. But the truth is, we failed in our endeavors during these times, right?
Yep.
So why do we want to repeat the same tactics?
yeah.
You know, shouldn't we try something different? Isn't that the definition of insanity? Try the
Yeah.
same thing, expecting a different result. Like, what if he threw in Guardado in the last minute and he didn't accomplish shit? Why is he going to do it again and expect a different result?
Yeah. I just think like we could have really used them out tonight. And again, I already know what I'm getting out of a Piojo Alvarado. I already know what I'm getting out of a Chucky. I already know what I'm getting out of Chiquito. I already know what I'm getting out of these fucking players that consistently get called up. I don't know why. They haven't earned it. They don't do shit. They're like, forgettable. It's like, dude, bring in new blood. Elias Montiel, bro. Like, let's see what he can do with this fucking team. Let's see if he can set up Raul Jimenez or Santi. Maybe he's like the missing link for them to fucking have some great, some goals. We need goals. Well, fuck, dude. Like, bring in the reinforcements. Like, that's what these windows are supposed to be for. Like, that's how I feel about it.
Well, this is the point I was trying to make when Tomas was talking about, Raul being in form and what happens if Raul gets hurt. Do we have a replacement for him? And that's not the player's responsibility. That is the coach. If you go back to Osorio, he would say, like, the reason I'm rotating is because I'm basing it off the team that we're playing on. Like, I study them, whether they have this much height in midfield and defense or they like to play low blocks. So I'm starting the striker because it suits the game that we're about to face, not in the form that he's in. And if you, like Rifado said with the Korea coach today, you saw him switch his stuff up. They tie it, and he switches it up again. They score the second. And Aguirre, each time he's reacting. He's not being proactive, making the decision himself. And I think he's very limited in that sense. If Raul goes down, and the team does not find a way to like score goals, it's not because Santi sucks, Vega sucks. It's because Aguirre was not ever able to exploit the qualities of the players that he has and build a scheme for them, build a strategy for them. Now that Raul is not in that game, and he's limited in that sense. So it is what he said. It is what it is. It's like Rifado said, we're not trying to dominate the midfield. We're just trying to nullify. That's what we're going to get with Aguirre. We're going to get a type of Mallorca type game. We're trying to claw our way out in the most important games against the tough rivals. Maybe it goes our way, maybe it doesn't, but don't expect anything innovative.
It's good to hear you getting a little smarter, Habibi. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Cállese.
Well, after the under-20 World Cup, the next fecha FIFA is November. So hopefully, right there, we finally see Mora, Obed, and Montiel.
Yeah. I want to see Camberos. I want to see
And if we don't,
Yael Padilla. I'm trying to see all these like exciting young players that have a different mindset. Let's be honest, man. These guys are like, they want the smoke. Like, I think about El Sandoval from Chivas, bro. That guy came in and just started fucking stomping shit out, scoring goals. I'm like, bro, these kids don't give a fuck, man. They have no respect for the opposition. Like, that's the kind of energy that we need.
Going back on Vasco as well, he's also proven to be stubborn, and he's proven to stick with veteran players.
Yep.
He kept Ochoa out and put Conejo. And if Sabat doesn't get injured, Chicharito doesn't even make the World Cup team. So I don't know how Mora, because he's already tried Mora, but I really don't see, judging by his past, I don't really see him going all out on the young guys.
Yeah, me neither. Which is my whole argument as to why we need to see them.
Yeah.
I think after these friendlies, the most apparent thing is that we need more speed for the counter.
Definitely.
Like we're too slow, and the only people that can do that or bring that are the young players, and so it's either he does that or he falls on his face, I feel.
We won't have to wait too long for the next friendly window. I believe Mexico has some matches in October. I think they're going to play in Guadalajara and in San Antonio. I think that's what I heard. So yeah, they have some upcoming friendlies in October. They play Colombia.
That should be a good test, man. Colombian team was good. I thought they were a shoo-in to win the Copa America last year. Looks like they've dropped a little bit in form. Should make for a good match.
So it'll be Saturday, October 11th, Mexico versus Colombia, and then on that Tuesday, October 14th, they're gonna play Ecuador.
Ecuador was just eliminated from the World Cup. No, same thing with Venezuela.
No, Ecuador qualified. I think fourth place. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Venezuela,
Argentina,
the two that were eliminated: Venezuela, Peru, and Chile.
Ecuador,
But
Colombia,
go to the wild card in Mexico.
Yeah, Chile is eliminated. Peru's eliminated.
Venezuela.
Brazil. Hey, Brazil's in 5th place.
Yeah, they're lacking. They're lacking. And I don't think.
Oh shit! Ecuador's in 2nd. My bad.
Yeah,
they had a good campaign.
I haven't even kept up with CONCACAF, but I know that there was some pretty big upsets with Costa Rica, right? And
yeah, they were winning 2-0. Then fucking Haiti fucking came back and they went up, and then Costa Rica tied.
Oh, I was talking about the one against Nicaragua, but they tied against Haiti today. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, 3-3. Yeah, Piojo's fucking he's feeling the heat right now.
Yeah, and I know Guatemala, right? They lost to El Salvador.
They lost to El Salvador at home,
Yeah.
and I believe they tied yesterday. Or they tied. They tied versus Panama, I believe.
Wait, so Costa Rica and Guatemala, they're in last place of the group?
Yeah.
Damn, Joel, weren't you
I know he was. That's why I brought it up.
Piojo?
Yeah, Costa Rica is in last place of their group. So is Guatemala.
So the three group winners advance directly, and then the two top second places, they go directly to the intercontinental playoff.
Yeah. So Suriname right now is head of their group. El Salvador has 3 points. Suriname has 4. Panama has 2. Guatemala has 1. Group B, Jamaica has 6. They're on a perfect run. Curacao has 4. Trinidad and Tobago has 1. Bermuda has none. Honduras is head of their group. Costa Rica is behind them. AT, and then Nicaragua in last place. And then yeah.
El Salvador might play the second their next home game behind closed doors because the Suriname team was complaining that they were being called changos and that they heard.
Oh, shit. Because Bukalele locked up all the fans.
You mean the Barra Bravas? But I need to give myself my own flowers because we're talking about Ecuador, second place, bros. Now, poor Jimmy got heavily criticized for not being able to beat Ecuador, and we were talking about how that's not a weak team. That's a team that was doing pretty good. They did sack that coach, but they had not even been doing bad in qualifiers. That's when they sacked
They're
them.
good players. Like they got the guy the guy from PSG. So I mean, they're not bad.
No, they weren't. But I'm saying the media and a lot of fans were already attacking Mex for not being able to beat. Like they were making it as it should be a given, to beat Ecuador. And I was like,
you were giving
historically-
then Galgok 3,000.
I still am. I still am. It's not over, bro. It's not over. How many times have we seen this with Mexico in qualifiers?
Guatemala is kind of tough because they should have that game versus they needed that
Yes.
game versus Salvador at home, and now they got to.
Yeah.
I think their
But
next
Salvador shit the bed.
The next two are on the road.
Salvador shit the bed though, man. Because if they would have won at home, they lost to Suriname 1-0. Had they won, then they would have really put backed Guatemala in the corner right at the beginning. So I think what they're pulling off that draw in Panama, I think that was pretty big for them. But they can't give up points like that. It was still a huge setback.
The good thing for that group is that Panama, everybody had it as a given that Panama was going to fucking roll over everybody. So, but they're struggling too. So it's.
What was their second game?
I think that group goes to the wire.
Yeah. How did they do? I didn't see their.
Panama.
I didn't see their second
It
game.
looks like Costa Rica is going to pull through, so Piojo probably will make it to the World Cup.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so, bro.
He's got 2 draws, bro. He's got 2 draws, no losses, man. He just needs to win.
Hay que trabajar. Hay que trabajar is what
He
Piojo
doesn't
says.
lose. As long as he doesn't
He
lose.
hasn't won.
We'll see.
He hasn't lost either, though. So
And the next match day, Costa Rica and Honduras go heads up, so that's going to be a key.
And Suriname has 4 points. Guatemala has 1. If they win the next one, they can tie for first.
But Rifado, come on, they fucking Costa Rica tied with fucking Nicaragua. Come on, man. Fucking Nicaragua. All I know about Nicaragua is Dennis Martinez, man.
baseball and good cigars.
Really good
What more
cigars.
do you need? What more do you need, though? Come on.
I'm rooting for Nicaragua. I want to see something new and fresh in the World Cup. We always see the same teams in CONCACAF represent us, but
Well, Guatemala's never made it.
Guatemala's never made it. I'm sure Nicaragua's never made it.
Salvador made it twice.
No.
The last time they got shellacked like nasty, like 7-0, I think.
Has Suriname ever made it?
No, Suriname, no.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, they always get their best players taken by
There's
Holland.
only been 2 Caribbean teams to make it. It's Trinidad and Jamaica.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they're giving CONCACAF too many spots, in my opinion, but
They give everyone more spots.
Having 3 host teams, man.
yeah.
No, but even if they didn't, you're still going to get expanded. So all those tickets would have been there. It's like they win opera. Look under your seats. You get a ticket. They're just spending them out.
Did anybody sign up for the Visa World Cup ticket pre-sale tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I signed up, but I know that I've been getting emails till like the tomorrow we'll be able to.
Nah, I'm too broke for that.
Dude, they start at
So
like
if
$60.
you win the lottery, like you could tell homie, hey, I won the lottery, and they could buy them, and then you can fucking,
Yeah, probably for that, to resell.
yeah.
Se reventa y puro business con el más sabio.
And then
No, I mean, 'cause there's,
oh, sorry. No, but the thing is that
No,
okay,
but-
you buy a ticket, and then later when the fixtures come in,
Yeah, you can trade.
them.
Yeah. That's what I like.
Yeah, I
wanted
know.
to emphasize, like, because they're not expensive. I think they start at like $60. So like, just get a fucking ticket, bro, and then figure it out later. Like trade it or sell it or whatever. But it's there's only so many out. It's like get your hands on it.
or you can also apply to volunteer,
Yeah,
and you could
Bro, they're
volunteer in
gonna
the
take-
stadium.
They,
Pero, Joel,
You can be at the stadium.
they want kids. They don't want kid watchers, dog.
No, no, still.
Dale un sándwich.
You think?
Yeah, I'm
you
just
think?
saying.
You think I'm gonna walk out on the pitch with like Ronaldo holding my hand, bro? No, they're gonna fucking.
No way, volunteer. Volunteers, so that volunteers are like interpreters, and you're in the stadium, and you help people find their seats and things, and
Nah, bro.
you're
Oh,
good with
yes.
2 languages.
Bro, I'm trying to pistear. I'm trying to fucking.
If I get
Well, that's you,
chosen,
but
if I get
maybe some of the
chosen to
listeners out
volunteer,
there-
I'm showing up with my jersey under my volunteer uniform. I'm walking into security to volunteer. I'm going to the bathroom, ditching my volunteer uniform, and going and enjoying the game.
You know what?
Like, they'll
But
they'll
that'll
ban
be the
me
last
from FIFA
game.
World Cups.
I always
That'll
I
be
don't
the
care.
last thing you see,
It's
though.
the final. I don't care. It's the final.
It's like, hey, why is that volunteer taking body shots off of that chick? Like, oh man. Well, we are gonna have Liga MX reinstated starting on Friday, but really, the only match we really care about this weekend is the big one, El Super Clásico Chivas América. Yours truly will be in attendance, so I'm really looking forward to that.
wow.
It looks like it's going to be raining, and it's not in El Azteca, unfortunately. But hey, man, we'll see how it goes.
Cuidado con la cartera.
Oh, I ain't bringing no wallet, dog. But what are you guys' thoughts on Clásico? Can you get some predictions going? Do you guys even care? I know America is obviously in better form than Chivas, but hey, this might be the kind of match that Chivas need to get back on track.
Well, Chivas did good in that game versus Leon. Did they have another friendly today?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I didn't see any promo for it. It was just this one.
Yeah, they did
But yeah,
okay.
they were losing 1-0 Leon, and they turned it around with 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, 2-1.
You know, I saw a really great meme that said "Ánimo, gente" in regards to the Chivas fans. Ya pasamos lo más difícil, sigue lo más cabrón, y después lo más culero. So
Damn.
it was in reference to the Saturday game against Club America away, and then at home we're gonna host Tigres, the next jornada, and then it's gonna be Guadalajara hosting Toluca. So it's gonna be a difficult 3 weeks for us. But I'm hoping for the best. You know, we've talked about what we love and what we hate about el fútbol sexo de Milito, and it's the lack of goals, obviously, the defensive blunders, the penalties conceded. But there's a lot of good stuff this team has produced.
Sounds like you're talking about la selección.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm a sadomasochist, and that's why I'm a fan of Chivas and El Tri.
This is exactly the kind of challenge that Chivas need right now. We've been playing really bad against teams that we should be beating, but maybe America will open up and invigorate this rivalry and get us back on track and start winning games. We'll see. What are you guys' thoughts on relegation promotion being reinstated.
I love it. The league has gotten kind of stagnant. Although hopefully we don't fall into that same pattern when it was the same. It was what's the name, Dorados ascending, then leaving, then coming back. Hopefully
That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. Because you know they have that the requirements now, so it's like 80% teams don't even meet the requirements.
Yeah.
So even if they did win promotion, they wouldn't be able to field the first division team, and they would just sell their spot.
Like a team that I hope that comes back is Morelia. It's just my Michoacan roots, and it was always a fun team. It was a good team to have around. Their fans were good. So
is that under the guy that was at Chivas, Tio Higuera? He's managing it, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they meet all the requirements.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty. Yeah, and then they could bring back Fantasma. That's who tied.
Fantasma.
Or he's coaching. He's coaching.
Nicaragua. He's coaching Nicaragua.
Yeah. I was about to say he tied. Who they tied? Costa Rica.
Yeah. And he got a words with Piojo. So.
They knew each other already.
Yeah.
Continuing the beef.
Yeah.
For sure, folks. We've had a great discussion tonight. I want to give everyone the opportunity to have the closing thoughts on this Mexico-Korea match.
I'll go first. Just my main thing, I was really happy to see Jimenez score. I think he was lacking that. And he'd been trying so hard to get a goal and to see him finally score. Not just, it was not just a goal, it was a golazo, clutch moment again. And I think it's good. I think he regains his mojo, and I hope he can start scoring more goals because he's severely lacking with the selección. So I hope this helps him. I know he was going through a rough patch. He was almost booted from AC Milan, and that must suck. And he's going to be staying. So I hope that builds his confidence for the club as well. And I think players like him doing well or being on fire is going to benefit the selección. So I'm really pulling for this guy. Hope he does well.
Thank you, Joel, for joining us tonight.
All right, I guess I'll go next. And I just wanted to touch on a few things. Like, I know we were down for a long period of the time during this match. We were down 2-1, and we started off winning, which is very disappointing. We're going to be very reactionary to that. We're not going to like that. And it's going to cloud our judgment. But overall, the game was good today. We had 17 shots to Korea's 8. We had 6 on target to their 3, 55% possession. We were the better team, I believe. They have a great player in Son who just, capitalized it, when it mattered, scoring that beautiful goal. And then the second goal was also lovely, and they capitalized the mistake by our one of our best defenders in Vasquez. But overall, I thought we performed pretty well. But in the final third, things don't click for large periods of time, and there was some mistakes by Vasco that just baffled me. Like playing Berterame as a right winger, it just seemed like a waste of time for me, and that was frustrating. But overall, this was a good result against a good team, and this is the caliber of teams that we should be playing day in, day out. Not like Moleros against the C team of Croatia, or I don't know, Central American teams. Like we need quality opposition, and that's the only way for us to get better. So I'm happy with playing these two powerhouses of Asia. I wish we had some jovenazos at our disposal that weren't there. And I didn't like some of the tactics, but overall, it was a good showing by the selección, and I'm proud of our boys. Viva Mexico. Thanks for having me, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Okay, I'll go next. You know what? Talking about quality opposition, they're supposed to be playing Portugal in Azteca in March. They just need Portugal to qualify to make it official. So that should be a good test. But you know what? Overall, you know, I'm confident that from here to January, he's gonna get his experiments out of his system, and then from January, there's what 6 months. He's gonna get it together and start working with, you know, his base team. So I'm, you know, I'm not too worried. Like I told you, I've been following World Cup processes since '98, and there's always a bunch of all the from La Puente, even La Volpe. La Volpe, there was one game where he fucking put everybody out of position. So they're doing tests, but when it comes down to it, 6 months out, it's, you know, they get it together and they start working their team. So I'm pretty, you know, like I told you, I'm confident in El Vasco that he's gonna at least field a decent team. And you know, and what more can you ask considering where the team was? So that's it. That's it for me. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Albert, for joining us. I think Habibi, you're last.
Yes, I mean, as far as hot takes for the game, you know, I think it's just like anything else. We'll criticize Vasco for this and that, and come the World Cup, the first game, once that national anthem rings, we're gonna forget about everything and just hope for the best. And then after the game, lo vamos a putear de nuevo, and that's all we can hope. You know, at the end of the day, we hope these players, you know, do what they have to do in their clubs. Like, look at James. You know, he's doing what he's doing with Leon, and he finished the World Cup qualifiers leading in assist. So that's as long as they keep getting their minutes in their clubs. If Mora's going to play the U20, fuck it, he's going to play the U20. And let's just hope they arrive hot when it matters most. And like Joel said, we're going to finish in el quinto partido, the round of 16. So ya que.
For sure. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a rocky road going into the World Cup. I'm not convinced with this team. This team is not very inspiring. The coach isn't very inspiring. But we'll see what happens. Playing at home is gonna be a huge advantage for us. They just released the hours, so like most matches will kick off at 12. Then there's one at 3. Another one at 6, and then the last one at 9. I think those are East Coast hours, but take that with a grain of salt. Guys, I'm really excited. I'm going to Mexico City for the first time this weekend, and what a time to go for the America Chivas Clásico. So Cantina MX will be representing out there, and yeah, I think it's gonna be crazy. I know it's gonna be crazy. It's a big ass city. Never been there before, so I'm very excited to branch out and continue exploring the country that I love so much. As far as hot takes go, kind of already said it earlier in the podcast. There's a lot of players that thank you but no thank you. Let's try something else. There's a lot of players on this Mexican national team that just don't inspire. They don't do much, and I'd rather take our chances with our young prospects that are looking good. The Elias Montiels of the world, the Gil Moras of the world. Give a shot to Yael Padillas, Ibad, Vargas, and Gamberos. I think those guys just have a lot going for them and could add some spice to this team that we desperately need. With that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight on YouTube and on Twitter Spaces. We'll make sure to distribute this podcast to all your favorite podcasting apps. And check out cantinamx.com. We got some content there, some merch you guys can buy. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Good night.